Hey everybody, welcome to Buffalo Plus. Mike Catalano along with Dan Fates. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Look behind us.
Beautiful stadium.
The worst stadium in the National Football League, FedEx Field. We're going to get a chance to see it on
Giant
Sunday.
parking lot.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me being out here of Kansas City, except what goes on in there is nothing like what has gone on in Kansas City.
Yeah.
But they've turned it around a little bit, so it should be fun to be here. This is a 2-0 team. People here are excited about the team. So
Sold out crowd.
Sold out.
Both games
Yes.
to start the season have been sellouts for the Commanders.
Yes. We don't see anything.
Fun fact, Mike. Give us our fun fact.
Oh, fun fact's a good fun fact. So the Bills since 2019 have played the Washington franchise 3 times. And it's had a different name each time they've played them. So in 2019, they were the Redskins.
Football team.
Football team in 21, and now in 23, they are the Commanders. So, and they were Dan Snyder's team, or Mr. Snyder as he liked to be called, or the clown who used to own the franchise as he's really known. So he's out. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because it's a different vibe here, I think, for the franchise. These fans have tuned out, and now they're coming back. So I think that atmosphere is going to be pretty good on Sunday.
I'm looking forward to it, one, for the comical sense of how bad that stadium is on the inside, but also just the sense of, again, an organization that feels like there's brighter days ahead.
Yeah.
And I think as a Bills fan, you can relate to thinking we've turned a corner, where things are going to get better.
Yeah, it's funny. Someone put out a tweet about naming all the Washington quarterbacks over a period of time. That was the Bills.
Yeah.
It was the Bills forever. And we were throwing out JP and Trent and, whoever was flying around that decided, Fitzpatrick, all that list. Well, Washington has had that for years, so now it's different. So here we are. We're going to do our 5 players to watch in this one. And we're going to start with a guy coming home to Maryland, to this area, Stefon Diggs.
Yeah.
He has played 2 games at FedEx Field. He was with the Vikings, both those games. 17 catches for over 240 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
He likes coming home. He likes playing here. He says he's got a lot of people who will come.
Yeah.
He says they got to sort of take care of themselves a little bit. He's not going to worry about everything. But I think he likes to come back here and say, I'm still the guy.
Yeah. Went to school in Maryland. This is his hometown. And I think week 1, he wanted to make a statement, and he did, and he was phenomenal. I think week 2, I kind of mentioned it, that they wanted to get some more people involved, and Gabe Davis was exactly that guy. As we turn the light back on, there we go.
Yeah, it's breezy here, and Sunday's going to be really windy.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. But I think this is another game where Steph kind of imposes his will on a porous Commander secondary that could be ripe for the taking, as well as Josh building off of what he did. They kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Talk about Superman and Batman. I think that Steph is a guy that, again, you talk about his numbers, I think he has another 100-yard game.
Yeah, it was interesting. He got all those targets in the first game. Dan's going to try to fix this. It's
going to get bad.
Windy out here. Steph had those big numbers in the first game against the Jets, 13 targets, 10 catches. But that wasn't great because nobody else got involved.
Yeah.
He had a nice, solid game
Yep.
Against the Raiders. But it wasn't as big a deal because everybody got their chance. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go back to that and just throw to Diggs, but I think he's going to be ready, and I think Allen's going to be looking for him for some big plays, especially if they can give him some time.
Exactly. Getting time is going to be key, and they were able to work around Max Crosby and the Raiders on last Sunday. We tip our cap to Ken Dorsey. Aaron Kromer, the offensive line coach, did a great job and a really solid time all around. And I caught up with Spencer Brown today to ask about what he learned from those moments.
He would be player 2 that we're looking at.
He's player 2. And the fact of he learned that effort makes up for technique and that he wasn't great on every snap against Max Crosby, but it was the relentlessness that Crosby had that brought that out in Spencer, and to be a competitor and to play all the way to the whistle. So hopefully, because Josh Allen said it after the game, Spencer Brown's got all the tools. It's just putting it all together.
While I'm happy that he's recognized that, I'm thinking, he came from the FBS school. You weren't the highest recruited guy. You come into the league. Wouldn't you have that already?
But you were able to rely so much on just talent.
I know, but this is not like his first moment in the league.
No,
like,
but
you know how good the players are.
But you've seen it with quarterbacks that don't study film because they can just rely on their athletic ability.
It usually doesn't work.
Correct. And at times it hasn't worked for Spence.
Yeah, that's the point. I'm like, and that's why I found it interesting that Josh said that.
Yeah.
In an encouraging way, but it's also recognizing something that is missing. Look, there's a certain amount of talent guys have, they work, but hard work and that desire are, it's not based on the talent you were born with. It's the work. So maybe this is a point where he's recognizing that more. I don't know, but they need him to be that way to keep Josh Allen upright.
We so often talk about quarterbacks' confidence is a hell of a drug and all of these things. We don't talk about the offensive lineman's confidence. And for as much as Josh said he was able to tune out week 1's performance, I think Spencer Brown's another guy that has heard a lot of the chatter going on around his play, and especially heading into this season. It was nice to see him kind of rise up to the challenge against Max Crosby. It'll be a whole nother challenge against this defensive line, which I would consider has 3.5 Max Crosbys all throughout it.
Yeah, I mean, they're loaded on the D-line. We keep having trouble with this light. We're going to fix it here. Loaded on the D-line. Montez Sweat has been killing it, and he's going to probably line up a lot on that side. And, they've got Jonathan Allen, who has been really good.
And Chase Young made his return last week.
Yeah, the Chase Young thing is going to be really interesting to see. So, because he is a super talented guy, it's just been on and off here. But coming off, he and Sweat are tight.
Yep.
They're good buddies. Sweat's having a big game. He wants to keep up with him. So Spencer Brown is the guy we're watching. Now, let's move to the other side of the ball, and we're going to talk about a guy for Washington. And, Sam Howell's a quarterback, and he's young.
Mm-hmm.
He had a tremendous career at North Carolina, put up a ton of yards, over 10,000 yards in his 3 years there. And he's been okay.
Yeah.
Like, he started one game last year and won, but now he's gotten the first 2 starts this year.
Yeah.
They're giving him this opportunity to be the guy. They've had horrendous quarterback play like we talked about, but I think Sean McDermott said, and it was interesting for him to note, doesn't look like it's too big for him.
No.
Maybe a little early to say that.
But this was also a guy that after his sophomore season was thought to be the #1 overall pick the following year at UNC.
Yeah.
He put up a ton of points and was kind of that Christian Hackenberg, Matt Barkley. He fell in that category of, unfortunately, he had to come back for another season before he go to the NFL, and that year didn't go so well. So he falls in the 5th round. But this isn't a guy that is not afraid of the limelight, not afraid of a guy that's in charge. And I think it's showing that he does have some of that. Jenna called it moxie on Wednesday.
Really? Jenna coming up with moxie,
But he has kind of that, he thinks he's better than maybe what other people think of him.
That's not a bad trait to have.
No.
Right, if you have that. And he's got Eric Bieniemy with something to prove, and so far he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Patrick Mahomes. Some people say it makes it easy. It's also hard to get a lot of credit.
Yep.
He's a guy who a lot of people thought should be a head coach, has not gotten that opportunity.
Yeah.
But if you really want to get there, coming to a franchise like this, helping a 5th-round draft pick become something, maybe you could argue, certainly, that he deserved that shot before this, but you did have Andy Reid there, and you had Patrick Mahomes. It makes it tougher as a coordinator, even though other guys have gotten that shot. And Bieniemy may be a little rough, but he and Howell seem to have a good mix.
We talked about it on the Buffalo Plus live show on Thursday. This is Friday, where we're taping this to air on Saturday. The fact of the matter is, he's coming into a young team that I think listened to him more.
Yeah.
That if he were to come to a veteran quarterback, the veteran quarterback say, like, Mahomes made you. But when you're Sam Howell...
Do you think a quarterback would really say that?
No. But I'm just saying, like you were saying, he's probably doesn't get a lot of the credit. But just the fact of coming in here and saying, hey, I was around Patrick Mahomes. I think Sam Howell's like, okay, like you were around him. Like, some of it had to rub off on you. So like to kind of get that sense, young wide receivers, talented wide receivers, young offense, I think it works.
Yeah, it's worked so far. It hasn't been perfect.
Nope.
And if you watch them, they're kind of all over the map, but he's had a nice comeback against Denver.
Yep.
Denver stinks, though.
So does Arizona.
Yeah. So it's not like he's beaten great teams, and he beat Dallas at the end of last year.
Win's a win, though.
Yeah, right. But he's getting this opportunity. And you know what? He's got some pretty good weapons on this team. You know, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, right? Robinson in the backfield. Not bad.
I think this is a better this is probably the best wide receiving unit the Bills have faced this year, because you really kind of only had to worry about Garrett Wilson. Like, are you really worried about Lazard and some of the other pieces?
No, as a group, no doubt.
And then obviously you had Devontae Adams last week. Like, no doubt the higher end is there, but the depth that this Commanders wide receiving unit has, I think will be a big test.
Yeah, and so how about Trey White?
He was asked, Sean McDermott was asked about Trey this week and said he's starting to see flashes of All-Pro Trey. Obviously coming back middle of last season, still trying to get his feet underneath him. I think they're starting to see some of that speed, some of that burst. And again, I think defenses are starting to avoid him again, which is a good sign that we're not saying Trey's name all that much.
Yeah, that's important because that can sort of dictate what you do defensively. But I think he's been really good and really solid, had a chance to make a big play, and Garrett Wilson made an incredible play. I want to see Trey make one of those. I want to see the pick. I want to see the big moment play out of him. It's in him. He was never like dominant that way, but I think he could use it. It's early in the season. I get that. But it would be like, and he made a couple of plays late last season, but it was still that debate on whether he's there yet. And I'd like to see that out of Trey. Maybe we'll see it on Sunday. And
final guy.
Yeah, we normally don't talk about this, but as we stand in this wind, and we know there's going to be wind on Sunday.
A mess.
And he's going to be, he's been really, really good. But I'm talking about Tyler Bass in the kicking game. Punt game, Sam Martin. I'm more concerned with Sam Martin holding the ball for him and keeping everything straight.
I want the camera to stay up right here.
Yeah, it's getting pretty windy.
This is going to get nasty. And I think lower scoring game. Look, the nor'easter that is coming in is coming on Saturday. It's supposed to bring heavy winds or heavy rain and sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. It's supposed to, for the most part, be out of here by Sunday for kickoff. There still could obviously be lingering effects. The field is not great to begin with. Is going to be wet, I would imagine, to some respects. Could be a low-scoring game. Tyler Bass could be that difference maker in this kind of a game.
You know, I was here for a game-winning Bills field goal, and I'm almost positive it was Ryan Lindell. And Joe Gibbs was in his second turn back as coach, and he made a big mistake where he called 2 timeouts in a row, which you're not allowed to do. He got a 15-yard penalty. They moved it up, and Lindell made the kick, and the Bills won the game. So good mojo for Bills kickers coming back here. So we're going to see what's going on. We're going to deal. It's weather. Dan, it's too early in the year for us to be dealing with weather.
It's my game.
It's Dan's game. When it's Dan's game,
it's light.
Weather. The light is turning. I mean,
it is getting windy.
Yes, it is getting windy. All right. So we got plenty of content on the channel. If you're on the channel, look around. You know, we talked with a reporter from Washington. You're going to have your best bets on there. We have our podcast on there, so check it all out. And, of course, we will have the post-game story from here. That's going to do it for us for now. We're going to get some hairspray and get ready for the weekend.
I can only see part of it.
Thank God I have none.
It's just not good.
That's the way it's going.
Not good.
For Dan Fates and Jenna Cottrell, I'm Mike Catalana. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Buffalo Plus. Cut this wind out.